Hi everybody, I'm Champian Fulton. Thank you so much for watching my videos lately, and thank you for asking me to talk about Clark Terry. I've known Clark basically my whole life. I met him when I was only a few months old. Stephen, my father, and Clark were really good friends, and basically Clark was like a member of the family. I'm not going to talk a lot about Clark's bio, but he's a very famous flugelhorn and trumpet player. He played with Count Basie, Duke Ellington. He was in the Tonight Show band, very famous jazz educator, and I'm going to show you a super cool photo of him right now. This is taken in 1991 in New Orleans, and you can see the flugelhorn there. I love this photo very much. A friend gave this to me from Red Bank, New Jersey, and I love this picture. I knew Clark at this time, and I'm going to show you another really cute photo, I think, of Clark and I. Actually, this is the same year. This is also in 1991, and in this photo you can see the trumpet and the flugelhorn. You can see his very famous blue plunger and also his famous charm necklace that he is wearing. Actually, there was a wheel of cheese on this charm necklace that I thought was Pac-Man. Anyway, this is us on stage in Oklahoma. That's in Norman, Oklahoma at the Sooner Theater, 1991. And it was around this time, shortly after, in the mid-90s, when I became really interested in being a jazz musician. I was inspired by my father and inspired by his friends like Clark. I played piano, I played trumpet, I played the bass briefly, I played drums briefly, and of course I was always trying to sing. And in 1994 we moved to Iowa, where my father and Clark opened the Clark Terry Institute of Jazz Studies at Takeo-Westmar University. And around this time I became much more interested in being a serious musician, and my father thought I should have my own band, explore band leading, and get more involved in the music that way. And so I formed this band called the Little Jazz Band. We were all under the age of 12, and I have a photo of us right here. This is actually after one of our shows. So this is, I'm a scrapbooker. This is a page out of my scrapbook, and I'll talk about these other photos. But that is us, and I just noticed that I have the exact same haircut as I had in 1994, so that's funny. Anyway, we played the music of Clark Terry. We played tunes associated with him, standards like Pennies from Heaven, and then we played tunes that he wrote, like Argentia, and we played some like community events, school events, and we rehearsed a lot. And then in 1995, Clark was turning 75 years old. I was 10. Clark and I are 65 years apart. And Clark was celebrating his birthday everywhere he went that year, and he really wanted to have a party in Lamar's, you know, with the students, with the members of the community, with us, you know, and really celebrate his birthday. And it was a very big event. My mother's a wonderful party hostess. They discussed the menu. It was very planned out, and Clark wanted to have live music. And this is how I got my very first paying job, because Clark asked if my band and I would perform at the party. And we played one set, I think 30 or 40 minutes, 45 minutes maybe. The party was held at our house. We had a very nice house in Iowa, and it had a big furnished basement, and so the party was upstairs and downstairs. We sat up downstairs, we sound checked, you know, we talked about what tunes we were gonna play, and then during the party, we played this set while everyone was hanging out and eating, and Clark came down and sat basically like that far away from us, and clapped, and it was really and sort of very surreal experience. And honestly, when I tell the story now, even it seems totally wild, even though it really happened. And after we had finished our set, we had finished the gig, this was my very first paying job, so Clark was going to pay me. And yes, Clark did pay for his own birthday party. Clark actually loved to pay for things. He paid for many parties and many things all the time. And in the basement, off to the side, was my little playroom, and I really loved Barbies back then. And I had this really cool Barbie playhouse with 3 levels, and it had the elevator that you ran with the little rope, and it had the shingled roof on top, and it was flat. The roof was flat. And so we went into the side room, and Clark was going to teach me about getting paid and, you know, playing a gig, and that's a very important aspect of being a band leader. And I remember this, that each sideman got $50. And if you knew Clark, you knew that he loved to carry a lot of cash on him. I mean, this is the 90s. I mean, he had credit cards, but he just loved cash. And he would fold up his cash into these little bricks, like fold all the money, and then he would wrap it up with a bunch of rubber bands. So he takes out his brick of cash, and I remember he peeled off the 50s. There's 4 sidemen, right? So that's 4 50s. And then he said, you know, you're the band leader, and a band leader should make double what the sidemen make. That is a true story. When I tell it now, a lot of people laugh. I think it's because they're not band leaders. It's a very good lesson to learn and to think about if you are a band leader. This is what Clark Terry told me, and probably what he learned maybe from Duke Ellington. So it's reliable. It's a good thought. So then he pulled out a $100 bill, and he laid that on top of the Barbie Playhouse. And he told me, okay, now you know you're going to take this money and you're going to go pay your sidemen, and you're going to, if there was anything that they need to do better next time or that you want them to do differently, then, you know, this is when you tell them, when you pay them. And I said, okay, you know, thank you very much, and shake hands. And then I took the money and I went and I paid my band. And I remember that I gave my father the $100 bill because I didn't really know anything about money, and I certainly didn't know really anything about what $100 meant. But that was my very first paying gig. And then we hung out at the party and had a great time, and it was a really wonderful experience, and one of many great experiences and fun memories that I have of Clark. And that is the story of my very first paying gig and Clark's 75th birthday party. So I'm going to show you just a couple more photos. This is from around that time, but it's not that gig. This was later the next year when Clark was already 75 and I was already 10. And that's us backstage. I think we played, this might have been at a high school in Iowa for some kind of jazz festival. I don't know if you can tell, but we're wearing Clark Terry shirts in the photo. That was fun. And here's one more photo of Clark and I. It's really cute. This is this was before I had the band, actually, and one of my first times performing on stage. And I remember in this photo, we're actually singing. I'm singing. We're playing Satin Doll. That's that picture. And I think it's really great that it's a photo and not a video, because Satin Doll is a very difficult song, and I didn't know it that well. But that is some fun photos and a fun story. I'm going to do installments because I have so much to say about Clark, to be honest. So this is video 1 of many, and thank you for listening. Thank you for asking me to talk about this. Please leave a comment, ask me a question, anything, and I hope you enjoyed it. Talk to you later. Bye.